two journeys today on Kababayan LA. Later on, makakasama po natin si Victor Quest or Victor King. He's going to be talking to us about his journey from being a dancer with Quest Crew to now wanting his own career, having his own career, and building a business empire. But for now, the journey first of Dr. Conrad. Murray, Karina, you're a criminal defense lawyer, and I feel that there may have been mistakes on the side of the defense.
The defense team is going to be second guessed throughout this, okay? Across the board, I've always told you, when there's a police interrogation, and it was an interrogation, make no mistake, 2 days after the death, when you walk into a police station, I don't care if it's the Ritz Hotel, you're confronted by the detectives, and you have no police report, no complaint telling you what this case is about, and you're sitting there having coffee thinking this is friendly.
Right.
No, this is not friendly. And if he had not talked to the police, there were only two people in that room when he died. One's dead and himself, right? Nobody would have known that he had given Michael Jackson propofol for 60 days.
Because it was all in his just in his testimony?
When he talked to the police. Nobody knows that he gave propofol and lorazepam and all these sedatives on that day. Nobody knows that he left his side and abandoned him for 2 minutes that day, except for what he said, right? I don't even think the district attorney would have had enough to file this case and just left it, like everybody's saying that is not in favor of his case, just leave it to the civil court for medical malpractice, right? And don't use our taxpayers' money for 7 weeks of his craziness that's still going on, because he's still going to be sentenced.
Okay, so now the cases that we might find, or we may find ourselves in, God forbid, but you know, these things happen, you might be domestic violence or DUI and stuff like that, and you're giving us the same advice.
You know, it's not lying. It's not saying, I'm not saying to you, you're not going to get your story, okay, or the opportunity to tell your story. But that is the reason that everybody, U.S. citizen or not, is given the right to remain silent.
And use that. Use that.
Yeah, that's our Fifth Amendment right.
Okay.
It's free. It is free, absolutely free. Why people just volunteer information, and you know, let's say a domestic violence, and I get this all the time, Janelle. Somebody, you know, I said, did you tell anything to the police? Did you talk?
Right.
Yes, I told him I hit her once. But you know, but nothing else happened after that, and she, you know, I apologized. But nobody's going to believe that when she's in the hospital. You just didn't hit her once. Right. So that's what happened with Dr. Murray. I mean, his testimony and the evidence, the concrete evidence, wasn't, you know, going the same route.
Well, what about Karina? I watch Investigation Discovery a lot, and
everybody does.
I hear about these things where it's not allowed in court, or it's not admissible in court, like a statement, a sworn statement is not admissible, or could this have gone that route?
No, it's Miranda. That's a very, you know, everybody knows about being Mirandized by the police, right? But there's a high level. They don't need to advise you of your Miranda rights unless they've placed you under arrest, meaning they've cuffed you and they've told you. Generally, there's all these factors, right? And it's a cop is very smart. They're trained. They won't go to that level, because anything prior to arrest basically is just investigation, and any statement is volunteer. Now, how Miranda doesn't how these statements come out? Let's say they sit you down in a room, right, by yourself for 24 hours, no food, no water.
I get it.
You know, and it's dark. They keep the lights off. They keep coming back. Okay, it's cold. I mean, those kinds of things, and then you finally give up and say, okay, I am giving up my right to remain silent to an attorney, you know, all of this, and this is what I did. They, you know, there's still allegation that this is happening all over in the United States, and especially in the South.
But it doesn't apply to this case. Now I get it, because he went there voluntarily and talked to the cops without being, you know, threatened, without being tortured.
And his attorney sitting next to him?
Oh.
How can you say that was coerced or not voluntary or not an intelligent admission?
Okay, I get it, I guess.
Right?
So the attorney was there.
Yeah, and his attorney was volunteering information as well?
Right.
I mean, you just...
Right. So
it's the lesson to be learned, really simply say, sir, ma'am, when a police, you know, I want check out my rights to have an attorney, and that's it.
And get a good attorney, because with Dr. Murray's case, he was with his attorney.
I hear through the grapevine that Chernoff wasn't paid anything for this, that he was doing it pro bono. But really, at the end of the day, there's going to be books and things like this and publicity that I think he was able to get. It wasn't, it was the prosecution.
It's still his responsibility, though. Just because you're not being paid doesn't mean that you're not going to do your best.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So thank you so much for talking to us today, Karina. Let's make way for this one comment on the phone right now. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I remember very clearly the day Michael Jackson died. Murray disappeared from the hospital when the police was looking for him.
Okay.
They couldn't find him until 2 days later when he made that interview with the police.
Yes,
with
that's right.
Chernoff on
On
the other hand, as I see it, he said he was only out of the room for 2 minutes when his telephone records clearly show everybody and texting and carrying on.
All right.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I think she
Thank you for that
agrees
comment.
with
Yes.
the verdict. She agrees with the verdict,
Yes.
and I agree with her. But
again, it comes out that he disappeared for 2 days, and then he came and gave all these statements, and now ultimately those are the statements that were used against him.
To convict him. That's right.
He is a convicted felon.
That's right.
Thank you so much. We
You're
have
welcome.
another story to deal with when we return on Kababayan LA. Don't go away.